If you don't follow the decorating crowd, we have a project idea just for you. We're calling it a reverse shiplap wall treatment. It's a play on the horizontal planks popular in the farmhouse decorating style. And our dare to be different do-it-yourselfer is Holly Charlesworth. Welcome to Studio 5.
I'm Brooke.
So I understand this project was born out of your personal desire just to do something a little bit different in your home.
Yeah, well, I do love shiplap. I'm not here to back on shiplap because I love it. I was just looking for something a little bit different that had the same clean lines, the architecture, but that I could pretty much do in a day at home and not have to worry about all the mess that comes along with doing shiplap.
It's the perfect mom project, it sounds
yes.
like, to conquer in a day. And it's interesting you break down, the details of shiplap. I've never really stopped to think about what we like about it so much. It is clean, it's white, it's bright. What did you do instead, though?
Okay, so I wanted to find something I could use to create that architecture, the dimension, and the horizontal lines that we love that goes with shiplap. So I found this trim, and it's actually not wood. I was going and looking for something similar like a wood trim, but feel this. Feel how light it is.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually
this is
PVC.
like a feather.
It's PVC board. So if you're at your local Home Depot or Lowe's, that's what you need to be looking for is PVC board.
Okay.
And I found this trim and I decided I could just create that look using the trim and then using my wall space as kind of the plank. And so it's so easy.
I'm like stunned how light this is. Like you think I'm just waving around a little piece of trim here, but it is so light as a feather.
I know, it's perfect. And so that kind of brought the next part of the project is instead of using nails, because everyone knows shiplap is, at least what was intimidating to me, is using the nail gun and having to nail in a million boards on your wall.
Right, and thick boards, heavy boards.
Yes, and they're heavy. And so with this being so light, it actually gives you the opportunity to use something different if you dare to use the liquid nails and just actually glue it up to your wall.
You're going to show us, before we do, I would love to throw those photos up again if we can, because the effect in your home is stunning. I mean, describe the effect for us. You've actually been in it. We're just looking at it.
Okay. Well, the thing I love is that it's so versatile. So you can see in my home, I actually did a white wall. I wanted it to kind of have that bright, clean feeling.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, isn't it so pretty? And it just adds that architecture for just such, pennies compared to what you're going to spend on shiplapping your entire wall. Now, the thing I love, it is versatile. The first thing you're going to do is paint your wall, so you could do it any color.
Okay.
You could do, people are kind of doing the colored shiplap now. You could do like the color you're wearing on your dress.
I don't know if I'd be that
forest
bold.
Green. You could do black. People are kind of going into that colored shiplap as a new trend. So that would be really cool. But I decided to stick to white because I'm a little boring in that area.
Well, no, you're already doing something not boring. You're already branching out here, so why not play it safe on the color?
So the first thing you're going to do is paint your wall. So this is kind of my faux wall we're using. It's already white. So you would paint it whatever color you're going to use. In my home, I did a Benjamin Moore Chantilly lace was the color I used. It's gorgeous.
Because we know we'll get questions. Yes. We always do.
So you're going to paint your wall, let it dry just like you normally do paint your wall.
Okay.
Then you're going to take your trim pieces and you're going to pre-cut them. This is where one of the power tools comes into play. I did use my miter saw just to make a really quick straight cut on these so they would fit.
Heck, I feel like you could use your kitchen scissors. Not really, just kidding. But
you really could use, if you just have a little saw in one of those like miter boxes you can get for like $5 at Home Depot, you could totally do this. You don't have to go out and buy a miter saw. That's just what I had on hand. So once these are all cut to size, I did paint them white just to match my paint color.
I was going to ask the same, because you are going for dimension, but that's going to come in the actual.
You want it to be the same color.
The placement of it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did that. So now we're just going to show you kind of how I prepped the walls. So first what you're going to do is I actually used this little laser level, which is super cool. Do you want to hold it up for me?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. So you're just going to place it up here so that the laser line, it should be, oh, there we go. So this is what helps me to create the lines on my walls, because I did have a 16-foot wall I was doing, so it wasn't something quite this easy.
Right.
So I created the laser lines there, and then I used a yardstick, which is, everyone should have one at your house, or they're pretty easy to pick up. And I just took this and used a pencil and created my lines this way. Okay. Okay, so now I've got, on my wall, it's painted, it has all the pencil lines, and now we're ready to actually attach the trim.
Okay.
So we're gonna just go ahead. I did use liquid nails. It's really cheap to get at Lowe's or Home Depot.
I mean, proof that this is really a doable project.
And you're gonna wanna just put like a thin bead. You don't want it to be too thick.
You don't want it gushing out.
Yeah, because it will expand a little bit as it dries. So I actually just did this. I would set it on my floor because my pieces were a lot longer, and then I would just put this on, and then
maybe you said, how long do the pieces come?
They come in a 7-foot length.
Okay.
And so I had to use 2 pieces plus a little to get across my wall.
You were going for it with that wall.
So you're just going to place it on, make sure that it's lined up there, and just kind of press it for a few seconds. The nice thing about liquid nails is it does have a little give. So if you get on here and you're like, oh, I'm totally off the line, you can move it around a little bit.
And you just nestled it you nestled it right up against that line.
Right up against that line. And on my wall, I did 10 inches is what I measured between those, between the trim pieces. So I did the same measurement on here just so you can kind of get an idea of the size.
Yeah.
So do you want to try one?
Sure. I mean, I think I can handle it.
I know, it's so easy.
I think based on that, what do people say when they walk into that room, Holly?
They love it. It was kind of fun because I was getting ready for a neighborhood party. I was having all my girlfriends over, and I had everybody over for Bunko that night. And when everyone came in, that was the first thing people were talking about. They're like, Holly, how'd you do that to your wall? And so, yeah, it was kind of fun just to tell them, hey, I finished this in like 2 days during nap times, basically.
Well, and the pride factor is high. Like, I did that, right?
Yeah.
Move over, Joanna Gaines. Holly did this.
So
okay,
you
very
just
cool.
press it in, and
are you using anything like a caulk to fill the top and the bottom edges?
So the nice thing about the liquid nails, it gets such a nice seal to the wall that I really didn't have to caulk the top of the trim or the bottom.
Okay.
What I did do is after all the pieces were installed, I went over with one more coat of paint, and I'm not going to use real paint, but what I did is I just took the paint and just kind of painted right along that edge, and it just kind of filled in that gap enough that it looked really pretty and finished. And the only thing I did use the caulk for was around my windows. So you'll see in the pictures I do have 2 big windows, and where the trim ends on the windows, you kind of want to fill that in a little bit with the caulk.
Gap.
Yep.
I love it. We're calling it reverse shiplap. Does that fit the bill?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's great.
Full tutorial on your website?
Yep. It's on sistersuitcaseblog.com. You can find all the tools that I used. I did everything for under $100 for that entire wall, and that included the paint. So it's pretty doable. It's pretty affordable for something that's going to completely change the look of your space.
Oh, anyone who's priced out board and batten or shiplap or any sort of trim work knows what kind of an investment that can be. So, so doable on many levels. Thank you so much.